Hey, Counselor Jen here from Counseling You into Adulthood. And today I am wanting to talk with you about car insurance estimates because we actually have one for a vehicle here at our house. So I thought, what a perfect time to share with you. And that's why this one's a little blacked out because it's got some personal information in it. So let's jump right in. I feel very well educated and able to share with you about this because I did have 10 years working alongside my husband in the auto body repair shop that we worked in. So not only do I know how to read these, but I also know how to write them. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions that I didn't cover, and please, as always, make sure to like and subscribe. So starting from the top, you'll see that we've got just some real generic information about who our insurance company is and some information for the body shop. You really don't need to worry about this information, but just to let you know, it does mention a supplement, and a lot of people aren't aware of what that means. And a supplement is basically something that a body shop would need to do if they get your car in, they start tearing it down to do the repairs, and they find that there's other things that need to be fixed that weren't included in the initial estimate. Then they'll write another estimate that includes the new repairs and send that over to your insurance company to ask them to approve the additional repairs. And they may have to go back and forth a little bit, but your body shop will take care of working with your insurance company to get that taken care of. So really all of this information up here is really just for your body shop to worry about. But you will want to keep track of your claim number and your work file ID because that is how your insurance company keeps track of your claim. Okay, then you'll see that we have under the estimate of record here a name of Eric Berkey. He is our adjuster. That is the name of the person who wrote this estimate for us based on pictures that we just uploaded on the app that we have downloaded on our phones for Liberty Mutual in case of an accident. So it was very easy to do. If you get into an accident yourself, you likely have an app for your insurance company as well, and it should walk you right through the steps. So he was able to do it, like I said, right from those pictures that we uploaded. And we'll kind of just see what he figured out from that. But based on those pictures, he says it's going to be about 6 days to repair. We were able to tell him the date of loss. They never really end up writing down a time. I don't think I've ever seen an actual time. My husband was not driving at midnight. He was on his way home from work, I think at 5 p.m. But yeah. And then it was a collision. It was the rear end because he was rear-ended when he was stopped at a light. And then it's just got our contact information. And actually the inspection location was at home because that's where we took the pictures. And then this is one thing I really want to make sure to point out is that your repair facility is always your choice, at least in the state of Minnesota, but I believe probably in most states in the US. No matter what your insurance company says, you legally have the right to take your car to any body shop that you choose. They may have preferred providers, which maybe can get your car in and out a little bit quicker, but that does not guarantee that they'll do a better job. So if you've been referred to some place or you have been to another body shop in the past, you are welcome to take it wherever you are most comfortable. Okay? So it's your choice. Doesn't matter what they tell you. Okay? Then next section you'll see is the vehicle. So it just describes my daughter's vehicle, her VIN, which if you didn't know stands for vehicle ID number. It's basically like a social security number for your car. And then down below that is just all of the features of her car, which has never made any sense to me why that is included on this, but it's there. Okay. Now on to page 2. This is the actual estimate part. So we've got, again, the type of vehicle up here at the top. And then you'll notice we've got a lined item list of every action that will take place on this car. Okay. And across the top, we have a description of everything that's going on with this estimate. So we've got our lines, we've got our operations, descriptions, the part number and quantity and price of any parts that have to be bought, the amount of labor time, and the amount of paint time. Okay, and I'll kind of walk you through each of these steps. But you'll see next to each line item, it's either going to talk about a area of the car. So we've got exhaust, rear body, rear lamps, rear bumper, and then some other miscellaneous stuff. Or it's going to talk about an actual operation that's going on with the car. So in the exhaust system, there's going to be a replacement of the heat shield. Okay, and it gives the part number so the body shop can go ahead and call and order that part or order it online, however they do it. Tells them what the cost is and that they need one of them. And it tells the body shop that they are going to be paid for 0.3 of an hour to put that heat shield back on the car. Okay, and then they just have a note here for the body shop as well. Then if you go down to line 3, you'll see R&I, and what that means is remove and install. And they're going to be removing and installing the muffler. Okay, they have that as taking 0.7 of 1 hour, and it is mechanical time. That's what that M means. So if they have a mechanic on staff, they might have the mechanic do it, but typically that's something that, you know, really anybody can do that they would have on staff who tears down cars. Then if we move to line 4, you'll see now we're moving into the rear body or the tailgate area of the car. Okay, and this is where the majority of the repair is going to be on this particular vehicle because that's where the accident impact was. So they are repairing the rear body panel, which is just a fancy name for the tailgate because this is just a small SUV. So they're repairing it and going to give them 6 hours to do that. The body shop may get the car in and decide like, hey guys, that's not nearly enough time. And so they may even just write a supplement for that and say, we need 9 hours or whatever it might be. Okay. And then we're going to go across under the paint column here and we see that they're going to give 1.6 hours for the actual paint color. So for the steel gray color, to make sure that the rear body panel is back to that color after they've had to buff it and maybe put some Bondo on it or, you know, who knows, sanding, all that kind of stuff. Make sure it gets back to the pre-accident condition, okay? And then on line 6, it says they're going to add for a clear coat. So 0.6 of an hour, they being the insurance company, are going to allow the body shop that amount of time to put a clear coat on just the tailgate, okay? And then if we look at line 7, it says partial refinish adjustment. For whatever reason, in their software, the insurance company says, that's too much time. We're going to give you a little less. And, you know, if the body shop wants to argue with them about it, they can. But this is really, really normal to see a little addition of time and a little subtraction of time. Okay, but it is very important that you always see that there's the time for the color and there's the time for the clear coat, because the clear coat is what really seals in the paint color and protects it. Okay, so then moving on, we see that they're going to remove and install rear body trim, repair the floor pan. That's another big one, 6 hours, and then some paint time. Remove and install luggage cover. Then they move back to the tail lights. They're going to take both of the tail lights off. And then move on to the rear bumper. And here's another kind of interesting one. OH means overhaul the rear bumper. And what that really means is they're going to just take everything apart, because on this particular car, the bumper is not just one piece. There's a lot of other pieces that attach to it. And the bumper, of course, since the car was rear-ended, had a lot of damage to that piece. So you'll see that they are buying a new bumper cover, they're buying a new lower cover, a right lamp cover, and an impact bar. So they really have to take everything all apart off the car, and then over 3 hours and a little bit, they will get all of that put back on and make sure it all gets painted back to the right color. Okay? Then if we move down to line 22, we've got vehicle diagnostics. So this is the computer stuff, because most newer cars, right, have some sort of computerized system within them. And so what they're going to do when the car first gets there is they're going to do a pre-repair scan. So before they touch the car and start tearing things apart, they're going to run a scan on the car to see what the car thinks is wrong with it. And then that also may decide that they need a supplement for more stuff. And then when they're done repairing it, they're going to do a post-repair scan to make sure there's no more issues with it. Okay. And then lastly, miscellaneous operations, you're always going to see something down here. Okay, the first one you're going to see is a sublet of hazardous waste removal. Hazardous waste removal is just a fancy name for throwing away the paint, maybe the metals, the car parts, the things that, end up becoming trash after your car has been repaired. This is a sublet because the money is actually going to another party, and that party is the garbage carrier, the garbage supplier who takes away all the trash for the body shop. And then line 27 says replace corrosion protection. So corrosion protection is something that they add to the paint process to help ensure that your paint lasts longer and that you aren't getting rust on your paint, because we of course don't want rust, because once you get rust it never goes away. Line 28 is cover car, and what this actually is referring to is some plastic that they are going to meticulously tape on your car to make sure that only the areas that they want getting painted will get paint, so that they don't have what's called overspray. We want, everything to look, again, pre-accident condition when they're done. So that's what that is. $5 is for the plastic, and then the time to put the plastic on the car before it goes into paint. And then the big thing here with this car is that it has to be pulled back into shape a little bit because it was hit, fairly hard. So they're going to set the car up on a rack, and they have to attach it very well to the rack. So it does take a little bit of time. They're going to give them an hour to do that. And then they're going to basically, with the help of a computer, pull the car back into its pre-accident condition, back into the exact shape it should be in. Okay, so let's move on to the final page where you will see the totals. Okay, so we've got, and this is just carried over from the last page, right? We've got the parts total of just about $800. And then here is kind of interesting. You can see how much money they get to make per hour on each of the different parts. So body labor, they get to charge $60 an hour. Paint labor, they charge $60 an hour, but then you'll also see that there's a paint supplies for $40 an hour. So the $60 an hour for paint labor goes to the painter, and the $40 an hour goes to pay for the paint and the sprayers and the paint booth time and all of that stuff. Okay, but then you'll see once they add in sales tax that the total cost of repairs, initially at least, is $2,816. Okay, and then down at the bottom again is more supplemental information that you don't need to worry about. So there is a quick run through of what a car insurance estimate is all about. Let me know what your questions are, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.